Do I want a fringe today? I don't think so. I don't know what my hair's doing. It's being a pain. Hey guys, so it's been quite a few weeks since I last filmed a video. I've been terribly unwell, just with the change in the weather. It's been quite cold, and yeah, I got the flu last weekend when I decided I was going to make a video, which I couldn't have. There's a few videos in mind that I was going to make today, but I woke up to some terribly sad news that the legend, the horror icon, Tony Todd has passed away. So the video that I am going to be doing today is a ranking of Final Destination movies. Tony Todd is an icon in the horror community. He was Candyman. He's also starred in many of the Final Destination movies. I'd say one of my favourite roles that he has played was Ben in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. I believe that came out in 1990. So like I say, he has done many movies in the horror genre, and it's an incredibly sad day. My thoughts go out to his family and friends, but in his honour, I wanted to do the ranking of the Final Destination movies. I have loved the Final Destination movies. I can tell you exactly. I watched Final Destination 1 the night before that I went on a school trip to France, and it terrified me. So I was going on a plane and I watched the one movie about going on a plane to Paris. But yeah, it was quite bittersweet, and I was obsessed with these movies. I have recently rewatched them. I watched them sort of middle part of this year, so my mind is still quite fresh on the films itself. So I feel like they are movies that I can just talk about. I might not get all the information correct because I haven't really done a lot of research on this. This wasn't the video I was going to make, but we'll give it a go and we'll see. So there are 5 Final Destination movies. I believe there's a new one coming out next year. These movies tend to have come out every 2 to 3 years between each other. So I think the last one that came out was 2011. Hearing that there is a 6th one coming out next year, I am excited but also intimidated about it coming out. This is my personal opinion of the order of which these movies will come in. If it's not the same ranking or list as what you would do, that is fine. You know, we are all entitled to our own opinion. You don't have to agree with me on this, and to be honest, I like all of them except one of them. So also just going to put on here that there is going to be spoilers because we're going to be talking about these movies. So coming in at number 5, we have The Final Destination, or Final Destination 4. And I remember watching this when I was a lot younger and thinking this one's fine. Like, it's not, I liked it. This movie came out in 2009. It is an hour and 22 minutes, so it's not a particular long film. It feels like it sort of goes over quite quick. Premonition is the race rally track one, which I think is probably the weakest of the lot of them. So Nick is the guy who has the premonition at the rally. Again, it came out in 2009. It really doesn't hold up now. It's very that 3D horror era. We see a lot of it around that time with things like Saw 7 or Saw 3D. It's got a lot of that 3D effects to it, which, like I say, doesn't hold up now. Again, I think the kills in this one are not as strong. I think I just remembered it being a lot better. I watched, like I say, I was 13 when it came out, and no, I wasn't 13. I was 11 when it came out, and I just remember watching it and really enjoying this one a lot. And when I've then rewatched it this year, it's just a product of its time, we'll say. So I don't particularly like this one. It's not a one that I'm going to go back to and rewatch. I don't think the characters are very likeable in this one. And also with the Final Destination, it is the only one, I believe, that Tony Todd had no involvement with. It was directed by David R. Ellis, who has done the likes of Snakes on a Plane. He also directed Final Destination 2, which is a lot higher on this list. But yes, I don't particularly enjoy Final Destination 4 or The Final Destination. In my fourth place, we have Final Destination 5. Again, like I said, there is only one that I didn't like and we've just talked about it. Final Destination 5 I really enjoyed. I think the characters were a lot more likeable. The kills were... It's the only one of these films that has made me cringe. I feel like I'm very desensitized to a lot of kills and gore and all of that stuff, but it was the laser eye surgery scene that made me wince in just, oh, nasty. I think it's more personal to me in a sense, because I have talked about getting laser eye surgery myself because I have really bad eyesight and clearly I haven't gotten it done. So it's one of them ones that actually made me wince up. One of the only times that a film's made me do that, because again I feel like I'm really desensitized to a lot of gore and horror and all of that stuff, even though it is my favourite genre. The scene at the end is done really well and really enjoy this movie. The reason why it's so low down is because the ones after this I feel like are just better in my opinion. I think this one is shot more beautifully than the other ones, but again I feel like it's got, the other ones have a lot more nostalgia to them, and yeah, I just enjoy these ones. I just enjoy the ones that came before this one a lot more. So Final Destination 5 is directed by Stephen Quayle. He also did movies such as Into the Storm, which came out in 2014, and a movie called Renegades, which I haven't seen, that came out in 2017. So the director doesn't have a lot of films under his belt, I think, from what I've looked into, but yeah, Final Destination 5 was really well done in my opinion. Yeah, it's definitely worth giving it a watch. In my third place we have, this was really difficult to pick. I am going to put Final Destination 2 in my third place. So this is a lot of people's favourite, and I think The Premonition is one of the strongest in this movie. The Premonition is so good in this one, and that is the motorway highway log truck, and it's done really well, and I draw myself a lot to early 2000s gore and horror, and it's one of my favourite eras of gore and way over the topness and cheesy in a sense. But yes, I really enjoy this one. It's a lot of people's favourites, and I just think the other two movies that I haven't talked about are better in my opinion. So again, this is the one that is directed by David R. Ellis. Tony Todd plays a character called William Bloodworth, and he is, if he's not playing William Bloodworth in one of these movies, other than The Final Destination, he has some involvement in some way. Yeah, The Premonition is probably one of the best and one of the strongest ones on there. Like I said, the rest of the characters, bar the cop and Kimberly, I didn't really like any of them. The ridiculous kill of the hook in the woman's hair and the lift is ridiculous. You just wouldn't do that. Like, it just wouldn't happen. Like, honestly, yeah, I think the kills after The Premonition are not that strong in this one. That's why it is at third place. Still really, really enjoy this movie. At my second place, I feel like I might get a lot of flack for this, and it is going to be the first ever Final Destination. This is the one I watched just before going away on a trip to France with my school. Got me obsessed with these movies. This movie came out in 2000 and I love everything about it. I mean, because it came out in 2000, it's got a lot of 90s era to it, and I love 90s horror. It stars Ali Larter and Devon Sawa. this guy. I just seen him in another movie just the other day actually, called Black Friday with Bruce Campbell, and yeah, I don't think I put two and two together. Really gave a lot of people, a fear of flying. I feel like this is the reason why I get quite uneasy with flying. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. The characters are really likeable. The kills are really good in this one, and again, the premonition is great. I love Tony Todd's involvement in this one, particularly. A creepy, scary mortician. This movie is directed by James Wong. He also directed my personal favourite, Final Destination movie. Yeah, it's a franchise. Because of the first one, it's a franchise that soared through the 2000s. It was up there as like one of the goriest, intense films. That means at my first place we have Final Destination 3. So this was also directed by James Wong. It also has, it's the movie where Tony Todd is not William Bloodworth in this. He is the voice of the devil roller coaster. I think he did a couple of other little things on Final Destination 3. This is my personal favourite. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this. She is fantastic. It's also got the guy who is in The Ring 2. I can't remember his name. He's the kid at the beginning. Ryan Merriman, apparently. Yeah, I would never have guessed that name. But yes, it's got him in it. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but I'm going to put his picture here. He was also in one of my favourite movies ever, which is Ginger Snaps. And yeah, I love the characters a lot more in this one. I like the premise of trying to work out what order they're in this movie as well, because it does change up quite every movie. But like with the plane, it was the seating order on the plane of is the order that you would die in if you cheated death. I like that they used the photography that she took at this sort of fair, fun grounds, theme park place to determine how people are going to die in this. And again, the kills are great. The sunbed kill, the gym kill, and where the guy is doing the weights, that's fantastic. I absolutely adore the little emo goth couple. I wanted to be Erin when I was a teenager watching this, and I just love their dynamic. And it is my favourite premonition with the roller coaster. I have a deep fear of roller coasters, and I have since before I watched these movies. I've always hated roller coasters, so that didn't scare me in a sense, but it felt more personal to me because of how scared she is of roller coasters, and then obviously what happens in it as well. It's just by far my favourite one. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I would love to see your ranking of Final Destination movies, and I feel like there's a lot more I wanted to say, but I'm still not used to really talking in front of a camera. So yes, we'll get there. We'll eventually get there, I guess. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my ranking of these movies, and like I say, I would love to hear about yours as well. And yeah, thank you very much and have a lovely day.